a little thumbnail for the video, but you might be wondering, Duke, why, or Duke or Marquise, depending on whether you're following my sales or my motivation page, but why do you say that in your thumbnail or in your title? To that, I will say it has been a long story, and it will be a long story. Hopefully, I do this in time before my parents come back, but in no means is this a video to come on here and be ungrateful or be victim hooding. I don't know the exact term, but no, this is not that sort of video, but it is essentially a culmination of events that have led to me having this sort of clarity, or this sort of, how do you call this, realization, right? And it is that I am a disappointment to my parents. And this started as sort of like a joke a couple months back, where I was looking at a reel and they said that be a disappointment to your parents, so that if you make any sort of like tiny win, it will be such a big W in comparison to the fat L that you have amassed throughout their lifetime. So it's basically like, be such a disappointment where nobody really expects much of you and nobody really thinks that you can turn it around. So it's basically better for the plot and stuff like that. But also, in addition, it is also kind of has drawbacks in the sense that they will start not really taking you seriously, and also maybe even resenting you as a person. But yeah, that this essentially came after our discussion yesterday, which wasn't really a discussion. It was what I would like to call a trial, which was basically like a full scale culmination of all the shenanigans I have been doing over the past couple weeks. And it basically started with the discussion about my job applications, which, you know what, let me just cut this straight. I said that I do not want to get a job, right? I don't like being you know what I'm saying, as a self-improvement bro myself. But not only that, it's also a kind of waste of youth, you know. I am a young person and I do young person things, and for me it basically is not aligned with my dharma, but they did not care about that, and I basically applied. I'm not being like an ingrate, right? I don't know what that means, but I'm not being like a person that's being abrasive or difficult, but I am basically putting half effort into it, because I am not a person who likes sports. I'm not a person who likes to get a traditional job. And yeah, in all like the empirical metrics of society, I am basically what you would call a loser or whatever. But to me, it doesn't seem like that. I just love being me, right? And that is me. So basically, the whole discussion was that, oh, why are you half-assing your job? Why are you not putting in full effort? Why are you not applying to 100 companies every single day, right? You can do cold calling, right? That is one of the things that we do here, and I love you and me. We're in sales, but you know, why are you not putting that same effort and stuff like that? And it eventually came down to me saying that I do not want a job, and it warranted a lecture from my father that was telling me that, oh, when I was a kid, I was doing this, I was hustling, I was like working hard and doing all these things, and then my mom also saying that, oh, how you are basically a failure at this sales thing, because oh, you I was an insurance recruiter back in the day, right? And how like you need to do ads. First of all, ads are paid, but second of all, sales, like, this is not easy, right? And it's not merely about being hard or difficult. Everything I believe is subjective and relativistic, but it's in the sense that I have not really been locked in as much as I wanted to be, because I only made 400 calls, a total of lifetime, starting from November. But in the summer, I did a total of about like 200 calls, which is still non-conclusive evidence, because yes, I did have wins here and there, but I'm not a great person to follow up or do touch basing, as you guys call it in your corporate sphere. But basically, I do not do that. I have had a lot of interest, a lot of send it overs, a lot of like prior discussions, but I do not follow up, so that's my bad. But it did not go as as planned as I wanted it to go. I started this summer wanting to do like a sort of hell week, which basically was me calling 100 people a day, which kind of isn't that much, but to me at that time I was really scared. But in essence, right, I had a lot of growth, but it wasn't an empirical, it wasn't a growth that was like results based. It was it was more so an internal growth and a skill acquisition than a client acquisition summer. But they were like, "Oh, you're a failure. Where's your business plan? You don't have a business plan." And I have it. I've written down my business plan. I have different offers. Okay, so yeah, you're a failure. You're lazy. You're every sort of thing that your parents can call you as a young loser. As a young entrepreneur, yes, they called me that. And in essence, it was like also about my phone usage. Oh, how do you use your phone? Da, da, da. And to that, I'm like, bro, on Sundays I literally go to church, and I do the stuff like I do the maintenance stuff, right? They don't need to tell me that. I already do what I need to do. But that aside, I stopped defending myself at a point because they were already making this what I am in the law of oh my god, in the court of law. But anyways, that really did not affect me or didn't bother me as much. But in essence, at the end of the discussion, right, like all these things raised, they were like, "Oh, so what do you have to say?" I'm like, "I have dishes to wash, so yeah." And with the sunglasses, I look like I'm a douchebag, bro. I look like I'm a douchebag with the sunglasses on. I can't even lie. But basically, that was what the entire interaction and the entire day consisted of. And yeah, that was it. I got a lot of heat yesterday, but it doesn't really matter. I don't really see a problem in it. We're still cool, but yeah, I have officially become a disappointment, and I don't know how to feel about that. Right? I mean, it's not really that sad or whatever. Like, it's all is chill. We were talking about cars too. It's like, um, so how about your car? Like, what's your plan? I'm like, we have like 4 cars, and there's 4 people here. I drive the fourth car. And they're like, no, like, you can't drive that. You had to earn it yourself. And I was like, oh, okay. And school is starting up already, and they were like, oh, so how are you gonna get to school? I'm like, shoot, I don't know, drop me out. I was like, no. I was like, fine. And I'll just walk. I'll just walk, right? It's fine. I already walk home to school regardless. Like, I walk in the single digits, so that one is not really new to me. So it's just the adjusting for waking up earlier and you know tiptoeing in the snow. But anyways, that has been that. It was a good video, and I'm making actually like 3 other videos today. But that was that. Thank you for your time.